Y'all, we're back with another insane UFO footage compilation. And yes, this is a long compilation, so you're going to get your fill of wild UAP activity. So get ready for some insane sky phenomenon, and I want to hear you guys sound off in the comments below what you think these things are. We're going to start out with some of the best UFO sightings caught early this year in 2024. Check it out.
New year, new UFOs. That's right, we're back with recent UFO sightings. It seems that as the new year comes in, we're actually seeing more and more of these anomalies in the sky. This was taken New Year's Eve at night, right before the fireworks, near Miami, Florida. Just a still red light. What gets creepier still is that while this is happening, in southern Florida, elsewhere in Orlando, while they're observing the fireworks, 4 or 5 more of these lights actually appear in the sky to those observers. This here is happening in Orlando while the fireworks go off for the new year. Further, bringing in recent UFOs is London. We have this anomaly in the sky attempting to be captured by the driver who is trying to keep their eyes on the road, drive, and record at the same time, which I absolutely respect because this looks almost impossible. You can see them kind of like trying to move the camera, but the anomaly freaked them out. They even pointed out that it actually disappears at one point in the sky in the middle of the video and then reappears. And the submitter took the liberty of slowing the video down for us and pointing out the moment in which it disappears. And I find it interesting because although it does vanish, you'll notice that the clouds stay illuminated. I just find it so freaking strange. And we get more from here. This sighting happened in Palos Verdes, California. This one's a little bit older. It happened September 11th of 2023, but it was just posted recently. It's multiple bright lights flying through the sky, some of them seeming to merge. The original poster said that the video is about 8 minutes long, but it wouldn't compress for them to send, so they're sending out clips right now. I'm hoping to get my hands on the full video, but it's an interesting sighting nonetheless. I mean, the fact that the orbs are different sizes kind of freaks me out. I don't know. What do you guys think about this one? Honestly, this is equal parts stunning as it is beautiful. And it's something very much Ohio. But this UFO is just captivating. And it has some colorful commentary in the video.
That is not an airplane. You see it? That is not a satellite and that is not an airplane. I've never seen anything like that.
And don't forget, if you want early access to all of these videos, all membership tiers on the channel have early access. So definitely hit the join button and see if there are perks that are right for you.
God.
Next, we have an incredible and baffling UFO sighting. This is apparently a UFO that was observed over the moon. What's striking about this UFO is not that it's just a light over the moon, which at first I'd be like, it could be something passing by on Earth. But this right here, this massive object is shining a light on the moon. And I want you to pay attention to how much of the moon's surface this light is covering. They're estimating that this thing could be 33 miles long, which is wild. And it is triangular in shape. I was a little skeptical about this one at first because there's a lot of moon watchers. So I was seeing this and I was thinking, well, this is kind of cool, but it would be much better if there were a moon photographer or someone who's often, checking out the moon's surface to corroborate this. And sure enough, there is a shot taken from a different part of the world. I believe this is from an amateur photographer named Astro in Bosnia, where we can actually see the red dot on the moon that we saw in the other video. And that was right before the new year. This is on New Year's Eve. On New Year's Eve, another skywatcher caught this on the moon. These are two events literally happening in late December that blow my mind. Sometimes I see the moon ones and I get a little iffy, although with the right camera and the right lens, or even your phone and a telescope, you can get videos and pictures this close of the moon. But it's the fact that multiple sources are capturing something on the moon, and with the red UFO, multiple sources caught the same UFO on the moon in different parts of the world. I don't know. That blows my mind. And I'm a little bit freaked out at how big that ship on the moon actually was, if it was casting that light onto the surface. Ooh, sorry. I'm just a little freaked out by it. This UFO here is actually very recently submitted to Reddit. And I love this submission because they are genuinely wondering what this light could possibly be that's hovering. They recorded it around the turn of the new year, and I can get you. They said, I saw this orb moving somewhat erratically in southern Ohio. At the beginning, it drops down quickly and then it moves up and down for a few times. Then it seems to continue in a somewhat straightforward path until out of sight. I saw two of these similar orbs a month before, and about a month before this, and they were flying around together very quickly in the same spot as well. I couldn't record though because they moved behind the trees too fast. Oh, I see. So he couldn't actually capture the entire recording of his first event, so he made sure that for this event he was prepared. If you're enjoying this and want to see more UFO videos, make sure you smash that like and share this out so that we can spread awareness about this growing phenomenon as the new year comes in. And I love that for this event, he was so prepared and nervous about the first time that he made sure to record the entire event, even up to the point where it disappears behind the tree lines, and he even tries to capture it behind the tree lines. I love that because oftentimes we see people aren't actually sticking around, or we're getting the short clips. And I've mentioned before, some people are busy. We don't know what the circumstances are. The technology could have malfunctioned. But I love that he genuinely was curious since the first time and has been ready since then to capture this UFO. This sucker is incredible. It was actually captured by a police helicopter in South Wales. The submitter says, I found this footage last night, but I actually had it saved from an older article. The footage is from the South Wales Police Force. It's their heat-seeking helicopter camera, which shows a spherical object bobbing around in the center of the screen. Confused, the police said the mystery object was flying against the wind and was undetected by air traffic control around 9:30 p.m. None of the crew could come up with an explanation on what it was that the team had seen, and the entire team began tweeting alien emojis with the question, any suggestions? I love that. I love that they're looking into it, they're taking it seriously, but they also have a sense of humor with it because it's like, we don't know what the heck's going on, so we might as well have a little fun with it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Smash that like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys very soon.
Insane. I find the UFO on the moon fascinating because it has that glow actually on the surface of the moon. That's absolutely insane. But this compilation only gets better. Next, we're going to check out some insane mass UFO sightings. These UFO sightings are plentiful and weird on their own, but they're even better because they are seen by such a large group of people that they can't just be brushed off as hysteria or whatever nonsense the mainstream media wants to throw at it. I love mass sightings. Check it out, guys. Let me know what y'all think.
We're back with some really, really interesting UFO sightings, starting with a grouping of sightings from different people in different locations that saw very, very similar UFOs in December. This one here is from Northern California, and it was seen on December 12th, 2023 at 11:53 p.m. The witness says they saw these in the sky and were dumbfounded as to what they were. So they ran across to their neighbors, knocked on the door, and asked them to come check it out. Even their neighbors were speechless. She said that these things were very, very, very high up in the air. They couldn't be bugs or what they honestly don't consider this terrestrial at all. They feel like it was in space. Now, this looks like a ton of either little lights, little crafts, could just be one thing. What is it that they're seeing, right? I'm blown away by this, but it gets even stranger because we have another sighting. This one is from December 5th in Chicago. They looked up and they could see it through the trees. He grabbed his phone quickly and started recording to try and capture the moment. He didn't get to capture as much as some of the other witnesses, but in this one from Chicago, you can see these lights are actually moving across the sky. You can see them moving through behind the tree, which is, I don't even know. Here we have December 5th in Paramount, California. Again, December. Again, very, very similar sighting. We have these, not even twinkling. I want to say sparkling lights. They almost looks like glitter in the sky. Next, this one is December 5th in LA. Again, we're getting the same characteristics. We're seeing these little blips of light. Some of them move erratically. Some of them are stationary, but they all do blink erratically, which I think is what's the strangest thing for me is they're not moving and solid, and you can see the movement. Like you're gonna actually see, sorry, the one that's above that little rooftop, it's gonna move down. Look at it quickly. Look at, you saw how quickly it moved, right? They're not on and moving. They're blinking, sometimes stationary. But when they move, you notice them. Just like the one I showed you that was just above the roof. I'll have an arrow on it because I'm still blown away. Mind you, the witness in that sighting claimed that was their second time seeing something like that. The first time was in October, which is interesting because this sighting here occurred in LA in October 30th to be exact, at 10:46 p.m. And I'm blown away that we have all of these happening in December, and then someone references, hey, I also saw these in October. And then we get video of a very similar incident in October. Now, again, these lights are blinking and flashing quickly and erratically, and some of them seem to be moving at a fast pace, while some of them seem to be more steady. And honestly, I've never seen anything like this. I mean, you know, Starlink is organized. It's usually a train. The rockets leave like a huge plume. I don't know that we have anything that blinks like this or acts this erratically. I'm blown away by these sightings. I'm blown away that they happened in such a short period of time. And I'm blown away that several people have captured this. We have different witnesses from different locations. This is, to me, one of the most, or some of the most credible sightings because we keep seeing them over and over and over again.
What the fuck?
That's UFOs.
What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck?
Now, this one also occurred in December. It's a little different than what we were seeing before. I usually think these are spotlights, but these do act very erratically. And yeah, I don't really have much of an explanation for the way that they were moving and zipping around. There doesn't seem to be an angle to the light. Like usually when there's a spotlight, you could see like a beam and a sort of angle sometimes. I don't see that here. I also love this video because it has some great colorful commentary. He's coming out and seeing these UFOs for the first time. He's freaking out with his friend. And then he yells out for them to get his girlfriend because he wants her to see it too. And when she comes out, she's like, I told you. Here, take a listen. But this just blew my mind. And again, it's happening in December.
What do you want?
There's something crazy going on out here. Like UFOs or something.
I told you.
What? What?
I said when you were talking to Zach,
What'd you say?
that I said, what is that? And then it's like the tree.
I didn't know you meant that.
Yes.
It's not doing it now.
But I saw it.
Coming in, break.
It was something like...
And one thing that I love about these recent sightings that I'm noticing is that people are cutting off the sighting short. They're actually staying and recording, trying to capture as much of the event as possible. Now, these next videos I added, they're a little bit older, but I found them to have strange similarities, like this one from 2020 in Poland. Again, a lot of strange flashing, flickering lights with, to me, an obscure source. Because a lot of us see the lights and we're like, oh, crafts, or one big craft, or light beings, or interdimensional. Like we still don't know what the heck is going on. And this one from Colombia in 2020. While I do feel like they could be lanterns, I feel that they are standing or sitting oddly still and oddly stationary in the sky. Y'all, if you're enjoying this, don't forget to smash that like and subscribe as it goes a long way. And don't forget to check out those channel memberships. There may be perks that are in there for you, like every channel membership tier gets early access to all videos. Here is another set of twinkling lights from October of 2020 in Colorado. Now, the way that these lights, sometimes it seems like the way that they blink, sometimes it seems like they're communicating with each other, not just moving together, but actively communicating with each other, which I also find interesting because if that's true, is there no like internal communication, like a comms network that they have going on? And then strange pulsing lights from October of 2020 in New York. What are these little flashes of lights? Are these the actual crafts while they're in like some type of camo? I don't know. Y'all, I'm just blown away by how many of these little lights we had in a same time period, and then how many similarities there are to other ones. Smash like and share. See you soon.
Wild, isn't it? So many people seeing UFO sightings. 2023, 2024, actually, just since the pandemic started, there has been an increase in sightings. Some people actually questioned it during the pandemic. They were like, since we're inside, they're coming out. It's true, though. They seem to be coming out a lot more recently. I wonder what the heck is going on up there. And when I see they're coming out a lot more, I know some people are like, no, some of them are explained by blimps and drones and other things that are up into like satellites. But there are times where these UFOs do such weird things that they can't be explained by anything we have. So that's what's next. These are some weird UFO sightings. Take a look.
Back with strange UFO sightings and phenomenon, starting with this UFO dropping an orb from Brazil. And I wanted to start with this one because the one on the left in Argentina we had covered before, so I love that there's a similar one, but I still want to know what the heck it's doing. What was it dropping out from under? I added this one because what it's doing is strange. Look how it jumped over to that next spot. Then up, down, up, up, up. Like, what the hell was that? And they went with the lightning. At first, I thought it was a reflection of cars. But when I saw it do the little jumps, that freaked me out. But it only gets stranger. Look at these interesting UFOs from Chile and Italy. Again, we're getting these ring-like UFOs, but the one in Chile fascinates me because It looks like it's moving and warping, changing its length, width, shape, everything. I didn't know about this one in England. I'm a little skeptical just because of the jump cut. The jump cut made it look like it was an edit. However, after that, the trail of lights I do find very, very interesting. I'm just iffy on the jump cut. I'm also iffy on this one. I have never seen the Argentina video before, but the Iran one on the left, I think it's a fake. I heard somewhere that it came from a video game. Now, this cow falling from the sky, I have no idea. This thing blows my mind. Everyone's like a UFO is taking the cow and dropped it. It could have been a tornado, but it didn't seem like the other cows were freaking out with the tornado or like getting pulled up. I don't know what the hell happened there. And here, more strangeness. You guys know I don't like these portals, especially the ones that look like doorways. If it's like a portal or something, like we see a UFO and a blur, maybe it looks like it's creating a gateway. I'm kind of okay with that. Like, okay, the ship might be traveling. But a doorway in the sky, I don't know why. It's very unsettling and it freaks me out. These, we've seen several before. I know we've seen the Hawaii one. I've had it in a previous video. It's that spiral UFO that we'd seen. And I know we saw the Russia one in the previous video I posted. But these are just a few that are very similar to each other, very strange, usually shrouded in a spiral or shrouded in some form of cloud. And I find them very, very interesting. I know the ones in Russia where it's kind of just an orb, it might be a rocket, but I can't explain the spiral one. If you guys are enjoying this, make sure that you smash that like, and if you like UFO videos, smash that subscribe. You'll see the schedule on the banner of the channel. We have new UFO videos every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and new reaction videos Tuesdays and Thursdays. You're even able to join the channel if you want early access to all of the videos, plus some other super cool member perks that you should definitely check out. Now, these lights kind of look like the one we just saw in the previous video. I find them interesting, but the one with the contrail, I don't know. I don't know if it was a UFO or if it was just that direct sunlight under it creating that illusion. This is very, very strange. I find that it looks like the one that we saw in Argentina and in Brazil, only white. I don't know. I wonder if the person in the car knows this is above them. I would be freaking out right now. I wish I had more information on this video. It's one of my favorites. And look, there it goes. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Please smash that like and subscribe. I'll see all of you guys next time.
I know I say it often, but the UFO that drop off those little pellets, I call them poopers, and honestly, I don't feel comfortable about it. I don't know what they're dropping off, so I'd rather know what the hell's going on than just see these things drop whatever off and then dip out into space. But these UFOs that drop these things off, they aren't the only weird UFOs. Weird things happen in the sky all the time, as well as here on Earth with secret meetings about UFO technology. So let's check some of that out. Next, you're going to see a little bit more about the jellyfish UFO and learn about David Grush's secret meeting. Check it out.
David Grush held a secret meeting in New York, held by a Wall Street bigwig, where Grush revealed that he was part of an extremely secret program that had figured out how to track and find UAPs in our atmosphere and near Earth orbit. He said his op-ed will include much more details regarding this. He was told about a UAP that was in our possession that had a diameter of around 40 feet, but once you went inside, it was the size of a football field. They believed that the object was somehow able to manipulate both time and space. Grush had recently been informed that a U.S. adversary was considering full disclosure to get out ahead of the United States, and that he passed this information along to the U.S. government. He also mentioned that the U.S. has taken part in a fair amount of crash retrievals before 1933. Grush also claims the non-human intelligence looks like the typical gray alien, and they aren't sure where these beings come from. There is also a chance that they may be extra-dimensional, but that it could also just seem that way because of the technology they use, rather than them actually being extra-dimensional beings. Oddly enough, he also mentioned that only about 50 people know the full scope of the UFO phenomenon. David Grush is still hopeful of UFO disclosure, regardless of what happened with the UFO Disclosure Act, and he believes that it's coming sooner rather than later. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and don't forget to smash that like and share this out. And I hope you guys also enjoyed the jellyfish UFO video Jeremy Corbell has released. Definitely check out his new 3-part show on Tubi about the history of UFO disclosure.
Now, David Grush and the other whistleblowers have been dropping bombshell after bombshell. And like I said, these UFOs are really ramping up. But in my opinion, since David Grush came out with his testimony, we started seeing a lot more orbs in the sky, not just the crafts, but these orbs, these plasma orbs and shape-shifting UFO. And a lot of it's happening this year. So let's check out some more UFOs caught in 2024. I want to hear you in the comments what you think about these.
We're back with some insane UFO sightings, starting with this one in Long Beach, which genuinely at first, you see how small it is, I thought it may have just been a balloon, but the people watching are commenting on how it actually blurs more as they zoom in, almost as if as he zooms in, the UFO itself makes itself out of focus, if that makes sense. I thought it was really interesting and has very interesting commentary. Check it out.
Yeah, when I zoom in, it gets extremely blurry. See it when I'm zoomed in? It's,
yeah, what the fuck?
I don't know, it's like something floating around up there. But when I zoom out, it's like a little. No, it's still there. Look at it.
I can't see it anymore.
Where's your glasses?
So yeah, I don't know. I find it very interesting that they were seeing it in person, and that as he tried to zoom in to get a better look, it would automatically blur. And she's noticing this. She's noticing this as well, and is just as confused and concerned. It makes me wonder if anyone else at the restaurant saw this, and if there's any other video or any other angle of this particular UFO.
What the heck? I'm gonna zoom in all the way.
Look, it looks like it's kind of changing shape. What the hell? We just saw a bird or a bug fly by, so that was a good comparison there. And this object is further away, and so, what the hell is in the sky?
That get zoomed in about 3 times gives the best kind of look at the shape of it, but
So strange, but I love that sighting. We're jumping into this one from Houston. Again, I was a little skeptical of this one until it started doing some strange movements above the phone line. Like right now, it looks like it's stationary, but it does make some strange left and right movement and dips a little. Check this out, guys. Let me know what you think.
Pero no se mueve. Estoy aquí en un parque.
Come on, I hate when people are like, "Oh, look, we're looking at it," and just show me the thing. Give it a second here. It should start moving soon. I mean, it being stationary itself is also very weird. Look, 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 look. See how it's getting kind of closer to the line?
Pero está ahí.
Now it's moving off to the right a little bit. It's not moving too fast, but it's eerie. I don't think I've ever, I've never seen nothing like this moving around in the sky. Like, this is crazy. And again, this is happening in 2020 when we're all supposed to be inside because of the pandemic. And again, just back to that question we asked before, what the hell is it doing?
Mira.
Is it on the line now? No, it's going under. It's under. Which makes me think, is it actually over the line or was it further out? What is it doing? I don't know. I found that one very strange. This one from New Brunswick, the man is fascinated because he thought it was a star, and then it started changing shape and kind of splitting up. So he pulled out his phone to record. It's very interesting. We can't get too much detail out of it, but it kind of reminds me of a recent sighting where someone claimed that out of their plane, they saw a very similar light and saw fighter jets circling it.
It looks like a number of ships.
It does look like a number of ships. I apologize, y'all. I did not add the music. It was sent in like that.
Zoom.
I couldn't imagine either. And it's crazy because, like I said, he thought it was a star. So he's like, okay. Then it starts breaking up. And as he mentioned, it did kind of look like it was multiple ships. But it also, if it is, it looks like they're very close together. Porto Alegre. Come on, Brazil. Yo, South America has not been playing with UFOs lately. Though with this one, again, this was 2020, I'm not going to lie. It is interesting, but it could be early Starlink. Right, now that we're used to Starlink, we know it looks like a train of lights in the sky. So, I'm always going to be a little skeptical. I want to believe, but we got to be practical. And I do feel like that one actually may have been Starlink satellites on their train. That one was a little orb. I'm glad he caught it. Look at him. He's like, what the hell? Come on, don't record the cars. Go back up and try to get the orb again. Look at it. Look at it. I feel that it's moving too swiftly to be a balloon in the wind also. That is my opinion. Let me know what you guys think.
What was that, Raj? Aliens, they're going to come give you an anal probe. They do, they're going to come down and give you an anal probe, Raj.
Poor dude, he's like, what the hell? I don't want to get an anal probe. This one I find very interesting. What I would like to know about this, for anyone who's in Vermont and knows where this is there a hillside behind this building or some power lines? Because it could be a transformer about to blow out, right? But it does look very strange. Or it could be a beacon that is affixed onto something to make sure that planes don't crash in the fog. There are several things, in my opinion, that this one can be definitely unidentified, but I don't think that this one is considered anomalous. Newark, New Jersey, Dirty Jersey, hey.
Estoy mintiendo, mira lo que se pilló en el aire ahora. Y no hay nadie que está pendiente a eso.
He said that this just appeared in the sky right now, and he's pissed because nobody's paying attention to it. Look at that.
Sky. Look at what, mira, look at the sky over there. Huh?
He said, look at the sky. Y'all, smash that like and subscribe, and let me know what you guys think in the comment section below.
Now, the insanity doesn't stop there. I've got some more fascinating UFO sightings for you. Yes, we're seeing a lot of these orbs in the sky, little lights often, but some are capturing full craft. Some are even seeing the glass dome, if you will, on top, and some claim to see some of the passengers, as well as beings landing and walking around our mountains. So let's check out some of those fascinating and strange UFO sightings next. Take a look.
We're back with some fascinating UFO videos that actually raise a few more questions considering recent events. Starting with the Jeremy Corbell jellyfish video. I added this version because it's stabilized and there's a boomerang on it so you guys can get a better look, but also because they're being seen, or at least reports of them are now coming out more. So this one is in Poland. It's actually from 2020. The person was a little embarrassed about the video, but they finally made it public after Jeremy Corbell made his public. We even have one from 2009, and this one is extremely interesting. It's in California. It's not just interesting because it has a weird and similar shape to that jellyfish UFO. We're actually seeing 3 orbs orbiting it, kind of like that plane video, and it accelerates so quickly up into the air when it leaves, because it doesn't just disappear, it leaves. Here's a slowed down version so you can see that acceleration. That is insane. Those are breakneck speeds. And it reminds me of these pod UFOs that some are saying may actually be the extraterrestrial or non-human intelligence coming down. Speaking of, in Brazil, hikers think they've spotted 2 10-foot aliens moving very quickly across the hilltop. What do you guys think about this? Right? These are 2 10-feet aliens supposedly rushing quickly across the hilltop after we had a alleged alien encounter in Miami with 8 to 10 feet alien, after we had a alleged alien land in Las Vegas, 8 to 10 feet. Speaking of Miami, more people are now reporting more sightings in Miami, and they're wondering, look how that disappeared. They're wondering if it's related to the mall incident. This is also in Miami. Everyone thought at first that it was SpaceLink or SpaceX, including myself, except that you realize that they're not actually in a train. They're a little bit random and disordered, which is what threw the person off and why they started recording. I mean, this UFO phenomenon, I feel like we're definitely getting a catastrophic disclosure. I mean, guys, we're even getting more UFOs and UAP on radar. Look at this in England from just 2023, just last year. We're seeing this strange, I mean, I don't even know what to make of it, especially considering the camera, but we're actually getting military professional grade cameras and personnel reporting this, pilots reporting this, and we're getting more intel ever since honestly ever since the Whistleblowers, right? But things are really, in my opinion, I feel like they're ramping up, especially with that secret meeting David Grush had, which we posted a video about before. Make sure you check that out. This one is super interesting. There's a square in a circle, right? And it kind of looks like a representation of the cube within a sphere UFO that's been talked about. Just really weird stuff. And y'all know the portals scare me, so I had to add a little something scary. Not as scary as the doors to me, but these are really creepy. Some have actually said that they may have something to do with CERN and the large particle, the Hadron Collider. Really weird. I don't know about this one, guys. I'm skeptical. I want to hear your opinions on this. I mean, it does go behind the wires, and it just, to me, it looks like a traditional UFO, like that you would draw, if that makes sense. Like you would draw the little silver disc with like the green dome. Is that not what that looks like? This looks like the one, this is a different one actually, and it looks like the one we just saw. Does this not look like the traditional flying saucer? And like when you're younger and you draw like the glass top, you make it like a greenish or like a transparent blue. That is so mind-blowing to me. I don't know. I mean, again, I'm a little skeptical, but I love it. Chile, South America is poppin'. I believe we've covered one that was very, very similar to this before. However, the one that we covered was actually closer to the ground. I like seeing that this one's actually a little more up in the air because it makes me feel like it's more legit, if that makes sense. Look at this. This is absolutely brilliant. I think we've talked about similar sightings before where someone mentioned that it actually looks like the surface of the sun. And now what's crazy is I cannot unsee that. It really does look like the surface of the sun, which is absolutely wild. This event in Russia blows my mind. It looks the best way that I can describe it is a massive ball lightning anomaly. Although I genuinely don't think that that's what it is. That's if there were a logical explanation, that's probably the most likely. But that thing is huge. Look at this one.
Ну блин, уже ни хрена не понятно. Во, сейчас поднимается, вот оно. Вот оно, не фокусирует. Вот опять к нам летит.
I would be freaking out. I would be freaking out if it was like a light like that and it's super bright, because there is a point where I'm like, whoa, is that an extraterrestrial? But I would also be like, oh my God, are we being attacked right now? Is this like an enemy? Like, are we going to war? I would be freaking out. Guys, if you're enjoying this video and enjoying the UFO content, make sure that you smash that like and subscribe, and make sure that you share the more fascinating videos so that we can get this information out there and try and work together to get some answers on what is going on in our skies. Don't forget, we have awesome membership tiers for everyone as well, so click that join and check if there's a tier for you. And remember, every single member gets early access to all content on the channel. Oh, we've seen these spiral ones. My friends and I were talking about the spiral spinning ones in the air the other day, and we were talking about how they're like the Earth's loading screen. Because, you know, like when your computer's like trying to load a web page or anything, it does like the spinning. That's what it's like. This is so fascinating to me. I don't know what to say about it. At first, I thought it was like some ground thing they were doing like at some concert, but then the ball of light in the near the base, and then the way that ball of light is rising up, I don't even know what the hell that would be for. I'm sorry, y'all, but that one just really blew my mind. This is fascinating. They're zooming in. Now, we've talked about this before. This could be an issue with the lens with the hyper zoom in, but it still looks very, very interesting. Like, I don't even know how to describe the shape of this. And then, of course, we have people on the news talking about UFOs, and there's a UFO behind them on the screen. Absolutely crazy. Y'all, smash that like and subscribe. Let me know what you think about these in the comments below.
No, that mountain being, I'm still a little skeptical. You guys know I'm a little iffy on some of this. But the craft I found fascinating. And there have been other strange craft in the sky. Some of them a bit eerie. Like one of the UFOs in this next few clips I'm going to show you, it has like maybe a force field, maybe a barrier, or scary thought, maybe charging up a weapon of sorts. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Let me know what you guys think this could be in the comments below. Check it out.
Back with an eerie and mind-blowing mix of recent UFO videos, starting with this what looks like portal in New Jersey that keeps opening up and letting out little UFOs. Check this out. it almost looks like the area there warps a little bit, and then these crafts come out from it. Allegedly, this is mind-blowing if true. It's been hard to track down the source of this video, but it does look similar to another supposed portal that was opening up in California and also shooting out little UFOs. Is this how they are traveling? Do they not even need to go through space? They can just appear here on the Earth? Is this what they meant when they said that the technology makes them seem interdimensional? This UFO over Italy seems to be dropping stuff from the sky. It's going into the water and everything. I don't know what it could be dropping, but it's just a set of lights in the sky dropping a set of lights onto the Earth. Now, again, like the reps said the other day, like the representative said, these UFOs and the information that we get actually bring up more questions. I did want to touch on this from the Netherlands in 2020 because I know people were concerned about it. I just want to show a video like this and say, when I see this, I think Starlink. If you see how the lights look like they're on a train together, and the red and white blinking light in the front is leading them. That's definitely that's definitely Elon Musk getting internet up there. Starlink is everywhere now, and they were definitely launching back in 2020 as well. But it raises more questions, right? Because look, we're seeing these UFOs in the sky, like that one there. We're seeing lights and orbs in the sky, but we're also seeing alleged portals that are closer to the ground, closer to the ocean. And we're hearing terms like interdimensional, extra-dimensional being used not just more frequently, but with more gusto. Like Representative Luna was saying it like she was sure the other day. Now here we have a sighting from the ISS. As you can see, we're getting some of the observables here in this video. It is moving extremely fast and making erratic movements. And there it goes zipping away. But movements that we cannot make with our technology, at least not manned, and not in space the way that was. This year, again, I love these, and I want the truth and I want aliens. I've been looking at this one. It looks cool, but because of how far they are and because of how the world works, it could honestly be an optical illusion. We can see that there's fog or mist in that direction, so I'm not 100% convinced on that one. I've seen this 2019 UFO from Cuba. We may have actually mentioned it before in another video. And I've seen the debunks saying that it might be a kite. However, the kite that they're showing, the technology that it uses, I don't think would produce a light that smooth. Even spinning quickly, the demonstrations that I've seen of the kite, in my opinion, don't match the UFO. Here we have another little Orby flying above and around the plane. We even saw one near the president's plane. I think this is bold. And I think it's one of the things that we should be using to get more answers. Just how I said that the representatives are choosing their words wisely. Some people don't want to hear about aliens. It's too far-fetched for them still, as real as they may be. So it's important to talk about safety concerns, and flying near jets is a safety concern. Y'all, look at these orbs. These are crazy. Like what's in the center, but then again, refraction, right? And lens flares. It just makes it so hard. This is from an asteroid. This was supposedly in 1999. I mean, I was looking into UFOs back then. I don't really remember seeing this. I may have seen it on TV once. That definitely looks like a pyramid or like a station of sorts. It looks more metallic, in my opinion, with the shine than our pyramids. But it definitely looks like a home base for something, like a base of operation. Sheesh. This is in Turkey. And again, we're getting this diamond shape. what I will say about this one, we're getting some good ones, but again, a little skeptical. It's blinking, it has the red lights. There we go. Now we're actually getting the shape. This does look strange. Just kidding. So what I was gonna say earlier, because I was gonna say it could be something man-made, with the refraction or the reflection and glare creating the diamond. But this does look weird. I do feel like that may have still been a man-made, maybe one of our reverse engineered. But the shape was crazy, so I don't think it was a plane. I've seen this one. I want to believe they point to the area in the daytime where they were. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. This is a lot. And I feel like other people would have seen it. But also to me, it looks like someone playing with a strobe light or a flashlight. And because of the darkness contrasted by the brightness, I can't tell that that's where he's pointing. I can't tell that that's actually there. I don't know that he's actually pointing at the sky. So I'm a little iffy on that one, and I want to hear your opinions on that one. As well as the next one, I'm a little iffy on because the next one looks almost like it could be a toy or a drone or a very elaborate. Not that I don't think that UFOs have lights, but I think that I don't think UFOs have these lights. This looks like a little party toy, party drone, party kite. This looks crazy. I don't think UFOs would need that much light, and I think that would draw too much attention. I mean, regardless of what the hell they're going for, that one's weird to me. It's just the thing that, even though I say they're weird to me, remember guys, anything is possible with the information that we're getting. This one from Poland is really interesting because it's not just a sphere, floating in the sky. It's giving me the same vibe that the sphere that was released by the government in quote unquote the Middle East with no real location. It looks almost identical to that one. This UFO in France reminds me of the one we saw the other day with the green dome that looked very typical. And I love this one in England because it does look very much like the saucer that we saw in Turkey that you can see the beings inside of. We got to make a video on that one. That one was fantastic. This one blows my mind. Y'all, I'm sorry. Some of these I'm seeing in real time. Some of them I reviewed beforehand, but some of these I'm watching with you, and I'm like, what? Look at this thing. What? That orb literally just went in there. But then it's like, well, they could be the size of a football field inside, so who knows what they can hold. I'm iffy on this one. I'm not going to lie, but I wanted to add it because people have been mentioning it to me over and over again, but I'm a little iffy on it. Guys, please let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you enjoyed this and want more UFO videos, smash that like and subscribe, and hit the join button to check out the memberships. Maybe there's a perk there that you might like. Look at this little saucer and let me know what y'all think. Is this a saucer or a reflection from inside his car?
Now, seeing anomalies in the sky, that's one thing. But sometimes we catch these anomalies in places where they can't be anything else except for some interplanetary extraterrestrial craft, like the UFOs that we catch in space. Oddly enough, one was recently caught flying behind Saturn and getting lost in its shadows. This is a very interesting UFO, and it really can't be explained because there's nothing that should be moving like this in space. Take a look.
Welcome back, space enthusiasts. Today we're checking out some of the most insane UFO sightings of 2024. This is just now happening. We're starting with this wild sighting over on Saturn. As you guys saw, the red circle was highlighting one of its moons, and from it, we see this faint light, like a purplish, bluish glow, traveling across from that point towards Saturn. I can't even imagine how massive this is, because look at the size of these lights that we're seeing. These are Saturn's moons. So this is it's obviously not as big as the moon, but almost the size of a moon. What is this thing? And at first I was like, oh my goodness, is it also emitting light? But as it draws closer to the beautiful planet Saturn, you'll see that it's not. I actually say this because the ship that we're seeing actually disappears from sight before going behind Saturn. It actually disappears right when it gets into Saturn's shadow. Now, what I want you to also realize is that it quickly moved off from the moon, or from behind it, wherever it was, and is now moving slower as it nears the backside of Saturn. There it disappeared into the shadow, meaning it wasn't emitting light, but light from the sun was being reflected off of it. It was glinting, if anything. And this is fascinating and blows my mind. And I when I realized that there was a difference in speed from it leaving its starting point. Look, it looks like it actually just appeared above the moon now that I'm looking at it. And I realized that it gets slower behind, or as it gets closer to the planet. I realize, oh my god, it's controlling its own speed. This isn't just some natural object up in space. Y'all, I'm so excited and so blown away by this. This video was actually originally uploaded by USD UFO Sitzungen Deutschland. I hope I'm saying that right. If I'm not, I apologize. But a link will be in the description below to the channel and to the particular video where this was posted. It is vertical, so I zoomed in so that we can get a better look. Like, look at this thing. And it's huge. We can actually see right off one of Saturn's rings. It's just about as big as that. I'm assuming that's another moon. I can't really tell. It looks almost like it's attached to the ring. I'm just mind blown by this, and I'm blown away by just how big it is. Again, look at the other dots in this video. Those are Saturn's moons. So imagine, by comparison to scale, how big this craft must be. And here we go. We're going to see right as it hits the shadow, it vanishes. The thing about the Saturn UFO is that this happened January 14th, 2024. As of recording, that was only 5 days ago. And on January 18th, just yesterday, this was recorded on the moon, also with a telescope. People are freaking out. The one on the moon now, I find the one in Saturn more fascinating for a few reasons. I do think that this UFO we just saw on the moon is a bit anomalous, but as we zoom in, you're going to see that it has almost a tail. Maybe it looks like it's kind of emitting something. I want to say that flashing almost looks like propulsion. I mean, of course, I could be wrong. I don't know exactly what it is. But I know that Japan right now is talking about landing on the moon, and on Earth, we have quite a few missions of trying to go up there and do a few things. So I don't want to say right away that it was UFO, UAP, extraterrestrial in origin. However, I do find it to be anomalous. I don't think it looks like anything we have made. It doesn't look like one of ours. But it just happened yesterday, and I know some people are researching it. I'm looking into Japan's launch schedule, so hopefully we get some more answers soon. If you guys have any ideas, of course, let me know in the comments. But this is also 2024. We're not just seeing the UFOs here on Earth. We're seeing them flying around in space. This one is also a little bit mind-blowing, just because they're blinking. At first, when I saw the line, I was like, oh, this person posted Starlink. But then I realized they were blinking, and they're not blinking in unison, and they're not exactly in a straight line, which leads me to believe that it's actually not Starlink. This happened also on January 18th, 2024, in Lake Charles, Louisiana. This one was posted by Think Tank on Twitter. It happened in their backyard. I don't believe it's Starlink, again, just because there would be no reason for Starlink to blink so erratically. And they're usually in a straight line formation for their train. So I'm genuinely blown away. And then this, I'm telling you, 2024 is already crazy. So this sighting, it's a mass sighting. I don't even know how to describe how it looks. It looks wild. This is I mean, as you can see, everyone is looking at it. They pan down with the camera so you can see the whole group. Everyone that's seeing it is also fascinated by it. And then you get this other anomaly that kind of appears next to it that looks like it's falling from the sky. I was thinking this could be a rocket launch, but it does look very, very strange. This video was originally posted on Third Phase of the Moon. Their channel and the video will be linked in the description as well. I love it because a lot of people saw it, and you know I love mass sightings because I'm like, okay, it's not just one person seeing something freaking out, it's like everyone is seeing the same thing. This video we've actually featured before on the channel. However, Jen and Ed actually compiled some more interesting UFO that look very similar to this. And when I saw his new compilation, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to add this piece because he's right. These that he's pulling up on screen now do have a very similar look to the one that we saw scanning that car or whatever it may have been doing. Like this one here even seems to be scanning. If you see, there's like a greenish light coming in, cutting through the trees. And Jen and Ed was actually clever and sleuthy enough, I don't know where he's digging, to actually find 3 other incidents that look very, very similar. He then shows them side by side, and yet again, I have to agree with him. Something very strange is happening. They are definitely scanning something, and all of these sightings did look very similar. What do you guys think of these? I think he's right. I think he's absolutely right. Please let me know in the comments below. And don't forget, if y'all are enjoying this, smash that like. And check out the membership tab. There might be a tier for you. Keep looking up, y'all.
I told y'all, man. That one behind Saturn, that's legit. That's crazy. That's like Oumuamua level, because I think Oumuamua was very strange, even though modern scientists wanted to be like, oh yeah, no, it was nothing. It was just an elongated rock that made a crazy turn in space and flew out of our solar system. Yeah, okay. Now, the ones in space aren't the only ones that are wild. 2024 has been chock full of insane UFOs. Some that look like Vimanas in the sky, and some that may just be light beings. So let's check out some more of the great UFOs of this year. Check it out.
We're back with some of the best UFO sightings on the channel, starting with this one in Canada. I remember this actually shut down the airport in Montreal. I was freaked out. This was like 2021. And it's wild because I've seen other UFOs like this and I thought they were fake. And now looking back at this Montreal one, it makes me wonder. Here we have another sighting. This was in California. Now, the lady recording claims that the 4 objects far off in the distance, they were not planes or helicopters. She didn't know what they were. The object that is in the sky, like in the center, moving across, moving to the left, she said that is in fact a plane. That she sees planes when she's outside in her yard all the time. She says it's normal to see the planes. She's seen choppers and everything. She said the 4 lights in the distance did not look like airplanes or helicopters or anything she's ever seen before. Now, the thing that freaked her out is that the 2 lights on the right seemed to merge, right? Now, I don't know that I would say they merged, but she says when she saw it, it looked like they merged and split apart. And I agree, you can definitely tell that the light that's moving to the left is an airplane. You can even see its blinking lights. So I definitely agree, you can easily tell that's an airplane. And that the ones in the background do look different. Now look as these 2 go by, it actually does kind of look like they merged together. When I first saw it, I felt like it looked like they passed by each other, but that was a little bit more focus on them, and it did almost look like they merged. And she's not having it. She's freaked out. I was skeptical at first. I thought they may have just been planes, but she said that she sees the planes all, like, she's out there every night. She sees the planes all the time. She feels like she would know if they were planes because she sees the planes so often. And I do agree that compared to like this moving quickly to the right, coming into view again now, that is a plane. They do definitely behave different than these planes that we're seeing, but it could be our perspective and the angle with which we're looking at them. This, I thought it looked really cool. I may have posted this one a while ago. I wanted to come back to it because now looking at it, I do feel like it is skydivers with pyrotechnics, not necessarily a UFO. One does seem to curve upward a little bit, but again, I think that is our perspective. That's just from the angle that this is being recorded. But now seeing so many of these, that definitely does look like pyrotechnics. This I still can't explain. Y'all know volcano UFOs are my favorite. This blue light kind of just hovers over the volcano. Um, the person recording it didn't necessarily say UFO. They said it was more like a spirit. They saw it as a spirit. I see it as a UFO. I don't see any clouds or thunderstorms. So I mean, I see like the smoke and stuff, but I'm not gonna say ball lightning. And it looks like it's splitting apart, or like it's two different lights. I don't know what the heck is going on. Or three now. It's so cool. I love this UFO. You guys know I love volcano UFO, but specifically I love this one. It just looks freaking awesome. And this could be something that could be extraterrestrial, right? UFO. Look, there's another. Look how that part, that one just kind of appeared and disappeared. But this could definitely be something interdimensional, in my opinion. It just looks so cool, and like I can't even explain it. Like how is it splitting apart like that, and what the heck is it doing? Now look how there's like points appearing above it. Y'all. And it's not someone goofing around like that. It's like someone. It's not. No one's goofing around lava. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's the crazier part. That like I like how that person showed like, bro, we're at a volcano. What the heck is going on? Like, this is a volcano. This is so wild. In 2021, we were still dealing with lockdowns. We've talked about this a little bit before, but it's like, were we locked down for reasons other than COVID? This is incredible. You can kind of see like the energy swirling around the lights. We've talked about this one before. It looks like it could be a ship. They were it was behind the trees. It was ground level. The person recording said they could feel this energy, see it, and they could like not hear it, but the feel of it. They could hear the feel of it. If that makes it, just it. I can't. It's incredible because they can't describe it, and then it makes me want to like I want to walk in their shoes, and I can't. Oh god, these freaking UFOs are getting better and better. I feel like this is just we're getting. I hope we get disclosure soon. This sucker seems to be dropping stuff off in New York City. I love this UFO because we definitely see clearly. This is not a plane, and it is dropping. It was dropping other lights off, but also because I love New York City, and I've personally seen a UFO in New York City. Nothing major or crazy. Like, it was a light. I thought it was a star. Then it started moving. But yeah, New York City's awesome. This Westchester UFO, I feel like, is similar to the UFO that was just seen through the window, because it was like the red flashing lights, and it was far in the window, and it was in the direction of Westchester. And now in Westchester, we're seeing these lights. At first, I thought it was like a railroad or something, but there is no railroad that goes up there, and it is the exact direction of where that window was looking, which is wild. Here we have another UFO dropping its kids off, apparently. This one is in Lake Michigan. I remember this. The family was a little disturbed by what they were seeing over the water. They were like really, really confused. They were just chilling on a little vacay, and all of a sudden this starts happening. And before they started recording, apparently the little orbs came out of the brighter light. And it looks like that other one's about to go back into it. And this one's just appearing out of nowhere. This is a great one. Oh, I'm glad we came back to this one. This is fantastic.
It's moving.
Oh, look, did you see that was like a connection there? It kind of looks like it was still a little bit connected. Maybe like plasma or something. What the heck are these things? And we were talking about using specific words and how the whistleblowers have been using specific words. And Grush, you know, how he uses interdimensional and he uses the term biologics, not necessarily bodies, which I think is very, very interesting. What if this is a form of biologic? Like what could this be? It looks. Oh wait, what's that one? Sorry, that one that just came in up top that was blinking. That's got to be something else, right? I mean, they don't look like drones to me. This one's a tough one, guys. Let me know in the comments what you think about this one. This one's a tough one for me. I do feel like when the leftmost light hit the building, it had a weird type of glare or effect on the building, but it could be because the light is so bright. But then they moved away from it so quickly.
It's not an airplane.
See how it kind of, oh no, it does look like it's going behind the building. It could just be the brightness, never mind. And yeah, and the building's obviously not smooth, it's gonna be jagged. Okay. Sorry, I was like trying to debunk as we were watching. This one is very strange to me because we actually see the erratic movements. It is literally it was going back and forth at first, that main light. And then as it starts going forward, look as he zooms in, look at all of, did you see all of the other lights that showed up? That must have been a giant craft. That is crazy. Look, I call this the spinning top UFO. These are absolutely incredible to me. I love that some of these we can actually zoom in and get these shapes. This one, I love that when you zoom in, you actually see ridges along the top, so I don't feel that it is a flare or something happening with the lens. I do feel that that is actually what this object looks like, because we're seeing detail that I feel we don't normally see. Like, look, you saw the ridges on the top? I do feel that is very unique in that sighting, and I really enjoy it.
What is going on? What the heck?
Going back now, I mean, again, this was I believe 2020, 2021. Going back now, I do feel like that could have been Starlink or something similar. We weren't quite used to the idea of Starlink going up at all times, so I do feel like that could be what happened in a previous video there. This one in Kenya, while it looks like a bag sometimes, it is very high up, and it also looks like the one that we've previewed before that was like a dark speck within a clear, like a spherish thing, which some have said could be what the cube within a sphere looks like. That's what this reminds me of. I feel like it's definitely, I mean, that could be, no, that's really high up. I was gonna say a balloon, but it kind of has some weird, in my opinion, it could just be the camera because it's so far. It looks like it's kind of changing shapes in a few places. So, I don't know. 1 second. Let me... What I wish is that this one could have zoomed in more the way that the previous one did, where we could actually see the ridges and we could get more detail and extract more information from this video. This is one of the older, supposedly leaked military videos. This is one of the videos that hasn't been confirmed, but it was leaked around the same time as the gimbal video, if not prior. And the gimbal one was confirmed, so it leads me to believe that they are definitely trying to track a UAP. And this is legit video. Look at this thing. I feel like they're hiding behind the clouds too. And it's wild because even our military technology has a difficult time tracking it down and locking onto it. And that's what I find
the most interesting. It's how advanced these objects and this technology must be. I mean, as David Grush said, the technology is such that they can't tell whether it is interdimensional or whether that is just how the technology works, and it is so advanced that it seems like it's interdimensional to us, but that's just how its technology is, and it is in fact extraterrestrial. So they could be either, or it could be both. Personally, I do believe that it is a little bit of both. I do believe there's a bunch of stuff going on that we don't know about, and extraterrestrial and interdimensional are just part of what is going on. We've been seeing a lot of phenomenon over water. This reminds me, I believe it comes up, of the one that the person was on the boat. Like this person's on the beach recording, but there was a group of people on the boat and there were a whole bunch of lights, and they all started recording and freaking out. They're like, "Are you seeing this? They're UFOs!" And I mean, it was a lot of lights. It was really freaky. Um, and again, over water, and we've been talking about how some UFOs are also USOs. The military has also talked about this and admitted this, meaning they submerge themselves in water. But what's strange is they don't lose velocity or change speed. It's almost as if the water doesn't affect them. They don't even really necessarily make a splash. Like in the one video, they say there's a splash, but it doesn't actually splash the water. It just touches in and it phases into the water. That leads me again into the more interdimensional field. But I think it's very interesting that we've been seeing a lot of UFO over water, because it makes me think about some of the people that say, are there underwater bases? Could they be from here? And again, I don't know that they're all from here. I feel like some maybe, but I do feel that there are definitely underwater bases. If they can go into the water like nothing, why wouldn't they? We wouldn't be able to reach them. That'd be super convenient for them. That would be extremely easy. Uh, this one was wild. I believe it gets really close to them and they're freaking out. This was on TikTok a while ago. Um, I felt like it was a drone at first until it zapped up and disappeared. And I remember this one from Arizona. It People were calling it a UFO. They said that they saw like 7 to 10 lights in the sky. At first, when I saw this, I'm like, I see 3 lights, but when they zoom in, you can actually see that there are multiple. It's more than 3 lights. It is like 5, maybe 6. Maybe we can't see the full extent of it because we're watching it through a camera and not seeing it in person. So I definitely believe the witnesses in that it could have been like 10 lights, but it looks to me the way they are is like that looks like a light being, or what is this? I guess I wouldn't really know, right? So what's described as a light being? The way that the pillars of light were over each orb, it was just I'll say it was absolutely stunning. Probably a beautiful sight to see. A little bit scary, but definitely beautiful. Here we have a cylindrical shaped UFO, very much. Actually, no, I don't want to say it's like the Tic Tac, because I feel like the Tic Tacs are stumpier. I feel like that's very, very elongated. It's more of like a cigar-shaped UFO. We've talked about this before. I feel like those may actually be probes as opposed to manned ships. I feel like the cigar shape may actually be probes. They cut through the air easier. They probably can get around faster, do a few things, and maneuver without, let's quote, biologics inside of them. So I feel like some of them are maneuvered by biologics, some of them are biological, but I do feel that the cigar shapes may be probes. This one's strange because it doesn't really have. Oh, wait, no, we have a blink there. I feel like this is definitely a UFO, not a plane, but I do feel it's man made. I don't know if it sensed that it was being captured or what, but I feel like it's interesting that the blink came later and the other light kind of turns on and off on its own. It is also a very strange shape for a plane. So I do feel that it is a anomalous object, but I do think it's one of our own. Maybe one we've tried reverse engineering, or one we're messing with, because that just looks strange to me. I don't know. Even the blinking lights. We've talked about how UFOs don't really have the need for blinking lights. I know some of you argue that they don't have the need for lights at all. I argue against that all the time. But I do agree that they don't have the need for blinking lights. I do think that they need lights because, I mean, space is a void. So there are times where you would need light, even though your light won't shine too far. It'll get you something. But also I feel like light in many ways is something that is emitted due to their energy source. We emit light and heat in our energy sources, so I don't see why. I mean, I don't think that the physics of that would change. Granted, we don't know what they are, so we'll have to wait and see, hopefully, for disclosure. This is sent in anonymous. I didn't get too much information. I Even though it's moving kind of like how the skydivers were, I don't think it's that. I do think it's anomalous, just because of the way they turned on and off. They could be drones, but even drones have the blinking lights. And the way they kind of just, when they vanish, that's very anomalous to me. So yeah, at first I wasn't sure, but by the time that they disappeared, I what you saw, that was a UFO, buddy. This one was in Saitama, Japan. I actually don't remember that one. Like, cool stuff. It doesn't remind me, but it makes me think of the other one from Japan where the light was above the house. And I remember someone saying it was the moon because I think they saw a picture I had posted. I'm like, bro, no, it was not the moon. It was that bright, but it was moving. Like, watch the video. It was intense. Some of these were sent in anonymously. Like, the emails were clearly fake. They had like weird, I feel like, in my opinion, foreign email accounts. But whatever, it doesn't really matter. I appreciate the information, and I appreciate you for sending it in. This from Pakistan is really cool. I'm iffy on it because it's not the best camera, and the bright red that it is and the way that it kind of goes, I feel like it could be a flare. But they are on the highway, and he seems to be very freaked out by it, but no one seems to be stopping. But guys, let me know what you guys think. Smash that like and subscribe. I will see all of you next time.
Interesting stuff to think about there. Now, speaking of light beings, there was actually recently a UFO crash in Brazil. And not only did this UFO crash and get caught on camera, allegedly, but they also caught these light beings traversing through the area. What do you think these things are?
Welcome back, space enthusiasts. UFOs have allegedly crashed. They've crash landed in Brazil, and there is video evidence in this incredible mass sighting. So stay tuned because we'll have more on that later in the video. Today we're starting with a UFO that was just captured today on February 5th. This slow-moving UFO even had the observer baffled. Take a listen.
And yeah, that's going lights out. That's headed south. That is literally moving at a snail's pace.
There's also a new sort of jellyfish-like UFO circulating around, with this guy kind of freaking out at what he's seeing, and it does resemble a jellyfish, not dissimilar to the one that we've seen go viral from Jeremy Corbell.
Which carrying a virus and it kills everything. Animals.
This UFO here was captured while the person was driving, making it a little bit harder for him to actually get a good view. but it was submitted to that UFO podcast. The listener Alex, to quote, listener Alex spoke to me on call in show and described his experience as he saw a huge triangular shape. Here is the video that he mentioned on the call, including audio from the show that he was listening to in the background. Like he said, it's frustrating trying to film something at a distance while driving.
Got quarantined out. Yeah. Ron Livingston is like, they didn't have much as on the way of weaponry up here, so I had to supplement their collection with my own supply. And he like opens his, it's one of those scenes where they open up a big room with like crazy guns, and he's just like, back me up.
And here is the madness that has left me shocked, courtesy of UFO Video STK. This is absolutely astonishing. It is a mass sighting. Several people are seeing this right now, freaking out. They even thought at first it was a fire, especially with the way that it was glowing on her face. But as they pulled up closer, they realized it wasn't actually burning anything around it. It wasn't spreading. There was just this light, and there was smoke at times, but they said even the smoke itself was very, very strange. At another point in the video, look, they're yelling at these people to actually get away from it. He's actually yelling at them like, hey, bro, get out of there. And I agree, you don't know, there's reports of UFOs giving off radiation, making people sick. And even the government has said that it has caused problems with pregnant women. And there's even a report saying that it's caused pregnancy, but that's a whole different story. This is absolutely wild. What I was going to say is later in the video, they even capture more of these actually falling from the sky, falling into these woods, and again, not necessarily burning anything, but just kind of like hovering, and then they collapse. This is wild, and everyone is panicking. I'm sorry, I'm just freaked out by this because I don't know what the hell is happening. At first, I thought it was a fire when I first saw the video, but as I watched, I was as freaked out as they are. Take a listen as I see more of these things come out of the sky and light up the area in front of them.
Olha, tá entrando outro pra ali pra trás lá, lá, velho. Olha, tá indo outro pra ali, ó. Bora embora, pô. Olha, apareceu outro bem ali, ó. Apareceu outro bem ali, ó. Outro pra ali, tá começando bem ali, ó. Será que é fogo fácil? Olha lá, ó. Olha o outro ali, ó. Olha o fogo.
You can literally hear them yelling about how another one has appeared out of nowhere. One even saying that the one that fell down appeared to look like a swirl. He said he saw a swirl, almost like a swirl of energy, where the UFO seemed to have collapsed. Now, this is them recording in the sky as they're seeing these fall from the sky in real time. All of these people freaking out in real time. This is an incredible sighting of something. I mean, I don't think it's a fire or a flare or anything because it's literally not burning anything else around it. And these people they've seen fires, they've seen flares. They're literally talking about how it's fluorescent and they've never seen anything like this. They're in full panic. They're freaking out. I'm freaking out just watching it, guys. Look at this.
Olha lá atrás, lá atrás, ó. Tá tendo bem ali, o outro pra ali, ó. Olha, tá tendo outro ali, ó, outro ali, ó.
He's freaking out. He's saying, yo, look, it's happening again. Another one is coming down. It's happening again. And again, you're seeing it light up in front of them. And I even ruled out, of course, an effect because like the light was when they turned the camera back on the girl, the light was clearly shining on her face. Just the way that they're talking about the swirl of it and the nature of how it's not burning anything around it, but kind of just hovering in place before collapsing. Like, even if it is a UFO, what the heck is it doing? What are these things doing aside from freaking these people out?
Cara, eu nunca vi isso na minha vida, primeira vez. Cara, inacreditável.
What I find more interesting about this UFO is that we've actually seen something very similar on the channel. And after seeing this, I dug a little deeper and got more info. The video that we'd seen before was shot in 2011 in I-10 in Florida. And it's what appears to be several, maybe 3 orbs of energy, kind of letting off a discharge that looks almost smoky, kind of like what we just saw in Brazil. This is one of my favorite UFO sightings that we have on the channel, and I have no explanation for what this could be. And it looks like it has a force field or energy field around it, as you kind of see what almost looks like plasma. It kind of looks like smoke, but it almost looks like plasma. And it makes me think if this is what they were seeing in Brazil. Mind you, this is 2011. The one in Brazil happened in 2014 or 2024 right now. But I cannot ignore the similarities. Please let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And smash that like and subscribe. Until next time, y'all, keep looking up.
I don't know, I find those so strange. But every time I see a light being through the trees, I think of that episode of The Simpsons where Mr. Burns is the alien. He's just radioactive and glowing. Y'all, now I know some of these videos in the compilations are a little bit older, and you may have seen some of them. So I want to share with you guys some more recent UFOs that you may not have seen at all. Take a look.
We're here with UFO footage of 2024, with this sighting happening in Northern California around Paradise. It happened at 3 a.m. February 10th of 2024. What I love about this sighting is it's not just a light that shows up in the sky, which is already freaky enough, but several lights appear out of nowhere and almost converge. They come so close to each other that we know no plane or man-made craft is going to get that close for fear of crashing. So I find it very shocking and very believable. And it's happening at 3 a.m. I feel like the UFOs are like, well, everyone's sleeping. But this lady was not. They were recording outside, making sure to capture the entirety of the event. And what's more interesting is that this event reminds me of one caught by a pilot. Check this out. This is from an actual cockpit. Again, we're seeing these lights kind of flare up, appear, and disappear. 2024 is getting very, very strange. This is from Blackpool, February 11th of 2024. At first, the skeptical side of my mind was like, oh, they're balloons. Until they disappear, which they do. And it is kind of freaky. So I definitely added this to the collection because I feel like them vanishing like that is very, very strange. This one I added because of the colorful commentary. Again, a little skeptical. I feel like, hey, this might just be a balloon. But the person that's seeing this up close, he's saying it's not balloons. He doesn't know what it is. Several things fly by in the video, including an airplane and a bird and a helicopter. So he can kind of compare it to all of them. And honestly, he's absolutely right. None of them match.
There's nothing, nigga. This shit is, what the, hold up, let me focus in. Kid, what is that? Nothing moves like that, yo, bro. Yo, word to my mother, bro.
And he's right. It is clearing a good portion of the sky. He mentions how it's going from Brooklyn to almost Manhattan. It's getting deeper into Brooklyn at a ridiculous pace. So this is traveling pretty fast, considering that it's covering a major part of the city in seemingly no time at all. I thought this could also be balloons. We can't really get a clear shot, and even he's upset that he can't zoom in. But look, check it out. Here's a chopper, and listen to him explaining how, look at all of these relatively normal things compared to this thing that I'm seeing here.
Nah, helicopter, that. Helicopter, that. Nigga, what is that? It went from Brooklyn all...
And I love his, there's the helicopter, there's that thing. He's like, what is it? Genuinely, though, it does kind of, with the way that it trails along the bottom, it reminds me of the jellyfish UFO from, where was it, Iraq, that we've been seeing, that Jeremy Corbell released. It does kind of give me that vibe. However, it really just is hovering over New York City like it's nothing. Look, there's the plane.
What is that? Yeah, I gotta send.
And still, the object makes 0 sense to him. I'm telling you, 2024 might just be the year of disclosure. I love this video. This was captured on a ring cam. And this is actually, her boyfriend said that the ring cam motion detector was activated by this light. Look at it appear from the sky. At first I thought, oh my God, maybe it was like a meteor or something. But guys, no. This light comes down from the sky, almost fades away. Then it reappears and hovers. And I mean, it hovers for quite some time, because she even goes as far as scrubbing through the ring light video to see how long this thing stays there. And sure enough, it's there for a good 20 to 30 minutes before it kind of dives away and goes deeper. I mean, I don't know. I have no word. It really just vanished. I have no words for that one. And I love that they caught it under ring cam. This is one of my favorite sightings because the person is pointing out all of the mundane things that you could see in the sky and how they would look through night vision with a very professional camera setup. He's showing aircraft and stars and birds, but check this out. This sucker has a whole change in direction, and it's no joke. Look, right here, boom, change in direction. I was like, what? It sure as hell turned right like it was nothing. Our ships don't do that, and then it disappeared into the void. Get out of here. Here's another recent UFO sighting. These are more colorful orbs. The person that submitted this one said that they looked shapeless, almost like globular or plasma or goo that was just kind of splattering and shape-shifting and changing colors while it was in the sky. I find it very interesting. I honestly, skeptic in me, I'm like, oh, this could be a star because I don't see any movement. However, the way that the viewer described this sighting reminded me of another sighting, this one right here, where this gentleman is capturing a ton of these multicolorful, what he calls blobs, floating through the sky. What freaks him out more is that he says he's attempted to get close to one, and they seem to actually shapeshift to things we know. He said he feels that he's seen one turn into what is supposed to look like an airplane. He said that even though it had the shape, when he saw it shapeshift, it had the shape of an airplane, it had too many lights and some features were off. So it's almost, he thinks it's almost as if these things try to pretend to kind of trick our eye when we're quickly glancing over them. But this time, he caught several, one which he says looked like a portal. He said none of them demonstrate normal lights. They flash from red to green to purple to orange to blue, and sometimes their light goes off completely, but you can kind of see their silhouette still remaining in the sky. He even captured one that was right above him. And he has apparently more video of this. I'm asking some follow-up questions to see if we can get a more comprehensive look at this event. Apparently it happens it happens often, almost every night, so it's not impossible for him to capture this. This right here, you see how it started blinking? He says this is one of the ships that shapeshifted. He says he feels like it knew it was being watched, so now it shifted to this like blinking form because we're used to blinking lights in the sky. I wish he had better zoom. I am fascinated by him and by this sighting, especially with this one that he's seeing above his head, because this one does look very, very weird, and it does not have the shape of an airplane at all, and it's right above his head, so I feel like it's close enough for us to determine a little bit of the shape as opposed to the farther lights. I think this is a very interesting case, and I do feel 2024 is going to be an interesting year for UFO UAP. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you so much for tuning in. Smash that like and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Keep looking up.
That was fun. Really interesting. Some of these things are really, really bright. So bright that I'm like, there's no one else coming out and be like, bro, do you see this? Like, I'd expect to hear my whole neighborhood like, oh my God, ¿qué es eso? Y'all, this has been so much fun, but I want to leave you guys with some stronger evidence. So let's end this compilation with some of the more credible UFO footage that we've seen recently. Take a look at these. Let me know what you think. A lot of these have been confirmed anomalies. Take a look.
Officials from the Federal Aviation Administration say there were no aircraft incidents or accidents in this area Tuesday night, but multiple witnesses report seeing a large blue object fall out of the sky and into the ocean.
Something is in the sky. What is that?
Welcome back, space enthusiasts. Today we're back with some of the most credible UFO sightings on the channel. We're starting with this UFO sighting in Oahu, Hawaii. Not just because it was covered by the news and they confirmed with the FAA that there shouldn't have been anything in the airspace, but because there were multiple witnesses of this UFO, multiple angles from multiple parts of the island. Here we can see one angle looks like it's actually splitting in two, and the people themselves are stunned by what they're seeing.
The journey ended less than 3 miles from where it began, on Farrington Highway in front of the Board of Water Supply building, after the object appeared to drop into the ocean.
And now we're talking about it dropping into the ocean, and it makes me think of the submerged objects that we've been talking about, that we've been seeing, how they've confirmed that they actually are USO, unidentified submerged objects. This to me is just wow, because one, it went into the water, but two, it does look almost like a plasma-ish. I don't know. I don't even know how to describe the light, but then the fact that it was splitting in two, I absolutely love that sighting. And I'm glad that multiple people caught it. It wasn't just one person recording this, claiming this. Multiple people on the island caught it. They have reported it, and the news is actually picking up on this sighting and this event.
Or missing aircraft.
Bro, that's like a UFO bar.
Although Mariah's had a couple days to think about it, she says she's still baffled by what she saw.
To this day, I don't know. If you guys can find out what it was, I'll let you know, you know what I mean?
Allison Blair, Hawaii News Now.
Absolutely stunning. And then we have this. We've talked about this one before. This was, I believe, 2021. From an airplane, we can see what they thought were a fleet of UFOs. Now, some people are saying that it could be a ton of boats, but I do believe that they're like over the middle of the ocean. There's not just going to be a bunch of boats like that.
My gosh.
Oh, this is one of the gimbal.
The wind's 120 knots from the west.
Released by the government. This is a legit UFO. I love this video.
That's not our LNS though, is it? It's not. That is an LNS, dude. Well, if there's like that thing.
I feel like they jumbled the words there.
Okay, we're zoomed out right now. Now we're zoomed.
This sighting, I found interesting when I first saw this. I actually saw this a couple of years ago.
Trying to focus. Okay, there we go. Floating in the sky. There's like 7 flying or floating things. Not much movement.
I do feel like this could be, I'm going to be a little skeptical. I feel like it could be some sort of drone show. And then the haze in the air kind of gives it that eerie glow because you can kind of see around the lights how it's kind of hazy. I will say that it looks cool. And obviously I wasn't there, so I'm not going to sit here and discredit it. But y'all check this out.
It's about 1 o'clock in the morning, and this is hovering probably 100 feet above Whitefish Point, and then the second one is probably 100 feet above it.
Look how it just vanished.
Bottom one just went out, and I swear to God, it came towards me and looked like, yeah, it's moving towards us.
And I love, again, I'm adding this one because you can tell the people recording were stunned, a little nervous, and it really caught them off guard. I would have freaked out when the first one disappeared.
Now it comes closer. It's coming like real fast, getting closer to us. And now it's stopped. It's hovering.
It stopped, meaning it's like sitting in place. I mean, we can't really tell because it's so dark in the video.
Oh, no, is it gone?
No, it's still there. I'm videotaping it.
That's strange. Did you see how that second one just popped up?
Yeah.
Oh, look, did you see that blink above it? Oh, there's blinks all around it.
Crazy. And you can see over to the right here, there's a ship.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can get the ship. You can see there's a ship out there.
Yeah, so this is actually a boat. They're out in the water. They're sideways. They were recording sideways, but he'll flip it and you'll actually be able to see the boat the way that it's meant to be seen. And the light actually does hover over the boat, with the couple exclaiming that the people on the boat must see what's going on.
Now there's 2 again. Oh my God. I move and move back and now there's 2. This is the craziest thing I've ever seen.
That's so freaking.
I'm not moving the camera at all, but they seem to be moving around the screen quite a bit.
Okay, the one's going away.
Oh, the one faded out.
One out?
Look at that. I'm not moving the camera at all. And it's like, look how it's screwing with my camera. See how it's getting all big and small and big and small?
It's like it's...
Look at, watch.
Yeah, I do. I see that.
Now, again, this could be them messing with our technology. And look, the ship is actually you're gonna see it go over and they start freaking out. Listen.
It's got to be right above the ship. Like hovering above the deck. Yeah, but they have to be able to, that's got to be so bright on that ship.
They've got to see that.
Yeah, somebody's got to be able to see that on that ship.
And it makes me, he's right, and it makes me wonder, what ship was this? What were they doing? Are there witnesses on that ship? Have we seen any videos from that ship? I want more information on this ship, y'all. Like the way that this thing is, it was so close to they are so right. Someone had to see it. And I do believe I see flashing lights around, but I can't tell if it's just because it's so dark that the camera's trying to capture light. Do you know what I mean?
Now there's 2. Yeah, see, now the bottom one's gone.
How that does? The top one comes in and the bottom one disappears.
Yeah.
That's how it...
Done that a couple times
and
now.
the little one comes up.
Holy crap.
That's really high.
Yeah.
I don't think you could get that high, could you? What would be that high in the sky that could hover?
I don't know. My hands are starting to freeze though.
Here's another one released. This is one of the official UFO sightings. I believe this one is the Go Fast video. And it is going pretty damn fast.
Did you box moving target?
No, I took an auto track.
Oh, okay.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Wow, look at that, man. Look at it fly.
Now it is zipping by. Y'all, what was that? I love that they were so excited to capture it. If I were, I'm not gonna lie, if I was the pilot, I'd probably be freaking out and happy and cheering too. I love that video, y'all. Like, could you imagine you're up there seeing that? Oh my goodness. This one was really, really weird to me. I've tried, like some people have said it may have been birds or geese, but if you look right now, it's kind of just hovering. Whatever the group of things this is, doesn't seem like it's moving. And then when it does start to really move, it gets really, really weird. I don't know what this could be. I think that this is definitely credible. They're freaking out. Listen.
Is this for real?
Look how it's moving.
I think I did. What the fuck?
Look at this. Look how it really starts moving around. It broke apart at first. Now it's like flares of lights moving in every which direction. I don't even know how to describe it. I don't know what the hell this is.
Babe, what's going on?
At first I thought it could be like drones, but drones they would make noises and they wouldn't look like this. And you can tell it's not like a glare from their phone because there is a glare and you can actually see it moving around and it had no effect on whatever the heck we were looking at. I had never seen anything like that. This was another group of UFOs that were released. They were short. I've seen them jumping around before. Those are years old, but the one reminded me of the UFO in Mexico that while it does look cool, I do still think it may be a funeral balloon. This was apparently sitting in the sky, sit still for 20 minutes before he started recording. He at first noticed it. He thought it was a little bit weird. And he's like, oh, whatever. Maybe it was like they were launching something. He came back out like 10 minutes later and it was still there. He pulls out his phone and as you can see, this weird thing that looks like it may have when he zooms in, like 2 or 3 lights, or it may just be a distortion in the camera. It doesn't look like it's spherical per se, but it's just hovering there in the sky. The dude himself is really confused.
Vedete che sta sempre fermo in un punto. Che cos'è?
It's like, what the hell is this? Could you imagine seeing this? It looks, I mean, again, I feel like some of it could be distortion because of the camera, but it does look like it's kind of morphing a little bit. I don't know. And I can't really tell if it's like a main light source with then 2 or like 1 on the left. I don't know.
Poi un drone gigante.
It could be a giant drone. Or a UFO, but it's not making any noise, and it's been sitting up there for a while. You would think if it were some type of drone, eventually the battery would die. I don't know. I think it's fascinating. I think it's credible because it's not like he started recording right away. He saw it at first. He even admitted, he's like, I was a little confused. I didn't think anything of it. It's that when he came back out, the fact that it was still there, that's what piqued his interest and what actually got him to start recording. So I do definitely believe that he is blown away by this. And honestly, I kind of am too. I agree with him. It looks like it could be a giant drone, but it's not making any noise. It doesn't seem to be coming down to charge or anything.
Guys, can someone tell me what's going on over there?
This, I remember this UFO. I've said before, you guys have shared this too. There's a theory that they actually make the shapes of constellations or certain constellations to kind of try and trick an observer. So, for example, if you're not necessarily looking up, you just glance and you see this, and you might think, oh, it's just some stars, and look away, unless you actually stare and look at it. I feel like that's kind of like what's happening here. They're doing something, who knows what the heck they're doing, and they're like, okay, well, we have to be visible for this, so let's try and cloak, do like a star system, bow, and some people notice that this is off, and they start recording.
I don't know what they are. And some of them aren't even picking up. So weird.
I love that she said that. That means that there are a lot more in the sky that aren't coming out on camera, but she sees them with her eyes. Oh, this is the one in the middle of the ocean. Check this out, y'all.
All of a sudden, bam! What is that? Anybody tell me what that is?
And what's wild is, you remember the one that we saw from the plane, where he was looking in the middle of the ocean and he saw all of those lights?
Nothing around. No land, no nothing.
Could they be connected? And I love that he recorded all around. He's like, look, there's, as you guys heard, no land, no nothing. Just these lights sitting there in the sky, in the middle of the ocean. That's weird as hell. Here we have another interesting phenomena. At first, when I first started watching this video, I thought it was ball lightning. But I don't know, because ball lightning usually has a more bluish hue from what I've seen, and it does tend to move around. This is kind of just hovering in place, pulsating, which is not something I've seen ball lightning do, and it looks very strange in general. Unfortunately, we don't really get like a fly away or zap away. I wish there was more to this recording so that we could see what happens to it next, or exactly what it does. Like, they tried to zoom in and I feel like discern the shape of this thing, which they don't get to. It still just looks like a pulsing light. But you can't glean too much information off of this. However, I have come out of it thinking it is not ball lightning. I don't think this is how ball lightning would behave, nor how it would look. I wish we had more information on the video.
Ese avión desde allá, mire. Don Bori. El avión va allá, el que está sonando. El que está sonando va allá arriba. Ese de arriba, sí. Wow. Qué maravilla poder apreciar algo así.
So he's just saying how marvelous this thing is. And at first he was asking if he heard anything. And
y sentí un zumbido súper fuerte, no en la tierra, sino como que un aspa de un helicóptero así, y salí y me encontré con esta luz.
He said he felt like pressure or the sensation of force against him, not so much in the earth, but like if a helicopter was right next to you and like you felt the air of it. And when he turned around to look, he came across this light. And at the beginning, he said how marvelous it was. He was asking his companion if he hears anything from that direction. His companion answers, no. And they're just looking at it, stunned and in awe. Did you see how it just blinked? They are in shock by what they're seeing, but he said he felt it as a force.
Wow.
It is going up. His partner said it's going up, and you can definitely see it rising. Look at that. And it's dimming out as it rises. Oh, look at it go. I think that's a marvelous capture. I love that he explained his feeling around it, the feeling of its presence, and he recorded it all the way until the point in which it disappeared. I think, and I thought it was stunning. It was. I have no words for that, because what the hell else is going to just hover there and then go up and vanish into space? What the heck is that? And the fact that he felt it. And that reminds me of this, which kind of reminds me of the UFO I saw. If you caught the live stream yesterday, both of these do. It was actually one of those videos where I was in my attic and we saw this bright light just kind of show up and then disappear, and then helicopters came in after it. This one, I wish that they had a Skyguide app or had checked the area to see if the satellite was passing by, because it is moving at a consistent speed, and I don't see anything anomalous. I do think I find them credible. They definitely saw this. I just wish we had more information to discern whether it was a satellite or not. And here goes UFOs freaking out some people.
It's on fire. Where is it? Where'd it go?
Are they embers for a fire? Is there a fire somewhere?
No, those can't be embers. It just disappeared. It's gone. There's another one.
That is not a plane. It's moving too fast. And it's not a helicopter. What the hell is that?
Now, at first, I agree with them. I don't know what it is. I thought when he said fire, I thought maybe lantern. But they usually come out in groups, not one at a time like this. And the way that it moves, I don't know if you just saw. I don't know if that was a issue with his camera or if it actually zipped by. Regardless, it's freaking them out, and I don't feel like it's making
fast.
I agree with them. I feel like the movement is a bit strange. However, it could be an issue with the perception, because of the camera and the lensing. I can't guarantee that one, but they are freaked out.
It's going into space. What the heck?
I hope you guys enjoyed. If you made it to the end, comment about this alien party. Smash like and subscribe. I will see you guys next time. Thank you guys for tuning in. This has been so much fun. I'm so happy to bring these compilations to you guys, and you guys really seem to enjoy them. If you checked out my Twitch stream when I scheduled it, you'll know some of my equipment got fried. So my stuff's a little off schedule right now, but we'll be back to a normal schedule very soon. Thank you guys again for tuning in. Remember, if it weren't for you guys, I wouldn't be here. I love you guys. Thank you for the support. Smash that like and subscribe, and have a great rest of your night.